Hello everyone, I am Anuj Nakade and you're watching LiveLaw. We now bring you news from the Supreme Court about a prolonged political controversy. This controversy is regarding the extension of the tenure of the Enforcement Directorate Chief Sanjay Kumar Mishra, who was first appointed in November in 2018. Our regular viewers would definitely know that Mr. S.K. Mishra was set to retire 2 years after his appointment in 2020 after attaining the age of 60. However, the central government retrospectively revised his appointment order and increased his tenure by a year. A petition was filed in the Supreme Court by a registered society called Common Cause to examine the validity of the retrospective revision and extension of S.K. Mishra's tenure by an additional year. At the time, the Supreme Court held that the extension of the tenure of the ED chief can only be granted in rare and exceptional circumstances for a short period of time. The court chose not to interfere with the extension of the tenure since it was supposed to end in November 2021, but the Supreme Court also cautioned the central government that no further extension of tenure will be granted to the chief of the Enforcement Directorate. The central government then went on to amend the Central Vigilance Commission Act of 2003 to allow them to extend the tenure of the ED chief 1 year at a time for a total of 5 years since the appointment. This allowed the central government to extend S.K. Mishra's tenure twice, once in 2021 and then again in 2022. However, the amendment to the CVC Act and a similar amendment to the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act of 1946, which allowed the central government to extend the tenure in a similar manner for the CBI chief, were challenged by the Congress and TMC leaders in Supreme Court in a total of 8 petitions. These petitions also challenged the extensions granted to the term of S.K. Mishra after 2021. On July 11th, the Supreme Court upheld the amendments to the CVC and the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act, but invalidated the extensions granted to the ED chief, allowing him to hold office only till July 31st of this year. We covered the complete details and the arguments and the submissions of the amicus curiae in a previous video about this case. You can watch that video from a link in the description. Then, on the 26th of July, the central government sought yet another extension of the term of the ED chief S.K. Mishra, whose previous 2 extensions were held illegal just earlier this month. The central government cited the involvement of the outgoing ED director in the review of India's anti-money laundering mechanisms by the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF. The centre had relied on his involvement in this review for the grant of previous extension during the course of the hearings in July 11th judgment as well. A 3-judge bench of Justices B.R. Gavai, Vikram Nath and Sanjay Karol heard the central government's plea to extend his term till October 15th of this year, today on the 27th of July. At the beginning of the hearing, Justice B.R. Gavai asked the Solicitor General of India appearing for the Enforcement Directorate, and I quote, "Mr. Solicitor, are we not giving a picture that your entire department is full of incompetent persons and there is only one competent? Is it not demoralizing to the entire department that it cannot work if one person is not there?" In response, the Solicitor General stated that the peer review has been going on for 5 years and there will be continuous questions to be answered. He said, and I quote, "It is not that anybody is indispensable, but the continuity will help the nation." Justice Gavai pointed out that the July 11 judgment allowed him to continue till July 31st, despite holding his extensions to be illegal. Senior advocate Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, while appearing for one of the petitioners, also questioned the request for the extension and expressed disappointment over how much depends on the ED chief. He said, and I quote, "It saddens me to see the extent to which my learned friends say that everything in the country is dependent on the shoulder of one single man." Senior advocate Anup George Chaudhary, appearing for another one of the petitioners, submitted that the Revenue Secretary is the main person for the said FATF review, and the officers holding that post have changed in the last 3 years. He went on to add that the Financial Intelligence Unit, or the FIU, is a more important office than the Directorate of Enforcement in this process. ED comes down below all the other agencies like FIU and the CBI for this process. He also questioned the messaging India would give out to the international community if the sitting director is holding posts due to illegal extensions. He said, and I quote, "What message are we sending if an illegal person is allowed to continue? We are giving a signal to the international community that we have no person other than Mr. Mishra whose extensions have been held illegal." Advocate Prashant Bhushan appeared on behalf of one of the petitioners and submitted that the averments in the center's applications were made in the previous hearing as well. He said, and I quote, "If this person is so important, the government can appoint him as a special advisor to whoever is going to be there for the FATF review. Why do they seek an extension till October when the process goes on till 2024? The Supreme Court, however, in due consideration, then proceeded to extend the term of the Director of the Directorate of Enforcement till September 15th in larger public interest. It is important to note that this extension of the officer's term comes after the final extension granted by the Supreme Court in 2020 and the declaration that the extensions of 2021 and 2022 were illegal in the July 11 judgment. The bench, however, has added that no further extensions will be allowed to him after September 15th. What do you think of this extension? Please let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications. If you found the video informative, please leave a like and tell us in the comments how we can shape our content to bring you your legal news in more engaging ways. Thank you.